I think these are the stories that are helpful to get beyond our borders, and find out that, no, it didn't only not serve me, it didn't help me to not be able to see and not be able to comprehend the love of God and his presence. So as that began to come off or dissolve, right? We talk about chipping everything that's not the lion. That's very much about me, chipping away everything that's not me. But this is a conversation about the artist, the sculptor, the one who's doing the chipping.
Right. Because he can see the masterpiece.
He can see what's in there that he wants to have come forth. He has that beautiful ability. And to cooperate, I'm not sure if I want to go as far as to be still and let him.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful ends for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast, the last Exploring More podcast of 2025.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Along with the day. The day is the last day
Yeah.
of 2025.
Happy New Year, dude.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Oh, man. There's 3 things I'm not going to say. That was funny. Anyway, yeah, glad you're with us. And what we, as we wrap up the present of presence, being present, and that being the gift. This is the final episode in that series, and we're really gonna talk and try to share some thoughts about you being present to you.
Yeah.
And how soul care or mindfulness or healing, restoration, all of that, and walking with God, pretty much.
It's something we encourage.
It really is and has some level of your engagement.
Your intentionality.
All of that.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me, I was journaling a little bit this morning, and I felt like, I wrote down how God is loving me no matter what I'm doing or what I'm not doing.
Yeah.
And that
it's not dependent on your will, anything you do.
Nothing.
Just to bring.
Yeah.
You don't have to do.
And I was sitting in that a little bit.
Yeah.
Thinking, that is just absolutely extraordinary, even bizarre.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Yeah, that I am not. It's unlike any other. It's just there's no other relationship you could get away with that. You went through a divorce. Why?
Oh yeah.
Because
you
didn't keep your end of the bargain, or
right.
No,
it's I get it. Yeah.
So
man.
Sooner or later, somehow,
unconditional actually means unconditional.
Sooner or later, somehow, somewhere, some way.
Yeah.
It in any other relationship, right? Even one that's in characterized maybe by long suffering, it still, will have its healthy limit. That
boundaries.
Yeah, you can't
Mhm.
go on treating someone like that and still be in that kind of relationship. And so yeah, thinking out loud now about what I was thinking about this morning, sitting there in my chair and writing about it, it was yeah, like I said in the last episode, it was like my soul felt its worth again,
Mhm.
and being absolutely comforted by that, and puzzled
Hmm.
at the same time.
Hmm.
And I bring all that up to say that as we end this year and move into the next, I think there is an invitation to consider some things that might very well make an impact or a difference, or somehow encourage or invite us to move with some curiosity into, well, what is our part then with God? Because if it's there and I'm not experiencing it, it doesn't mean it's not still there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the level of its ability to impact me or affect me is absent in my inability either to acknowledge it or my ability to not see it, which is the same thing.
Yeah. Let me come at it from a different direction.
Yeah, go.
You know, does the love of God have any boundaries?
Yes.
Okay.
And no. That's it. That's what I'm pondering. That's the whole thing.
And if he does, where do they come from?
Right. For somebody to not experience, know that they are loved.
It's so interesting to think about that we could somehow put a boundary on the most loving being in the universe, the creator.
Yeah.
We could put a boundary on that
Yeah.
individual somehow.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And yet he lets us do it.
It's baffling. It's bizarre. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's good. I heard
Beautifully confounding.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something that'll I'm gonna bring this up when we come right back.
Oh yeah, we had to take a break.
Because this is important, and I'm gonna start.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna start the next section with. We'll be right back on the Exploring More podcast after this break.
Yeah, so possibly one of the most profound moments of my life, really. It was up at one of the old Top Gun events in the mountains up in Virginia, and I remember just really struggling, sitting up literally on top of the mountain. I hiked up there that day, looking out over the camp. It's beautiful, and feeling like I was in the presence of so many men that had such a connection with God. That what's wrong with me? Why doesn't God ever talk to me? Like all these guys are talking about this great experience. And so I spent some time reflecting on that. And as I was walking back down the mountain, all that was in my head was, God, I need to hear you. I need to hear your voice. I need to hear, some semblance of life from you. And as I'm walking, I literally start hearing this running water in the middle of coming down a mountain. I mean, there's not really anything around but brush. It's a mess, and my legs are getting all torn up by the brambles. And I hear this running water, and so I'm thinking, God, this is crazy. And I start to walk over towards it, towards the sound, and find this running creek of just amazing, beautiful spring water. A nice mountain spring that shouldn't have been there. And in my head, I was thinking about God and the sort of the analogy of the river of life and all these things. And then there's this water in the stream, and all of this is happening at once, but I'm thinking to myself, just like show me some kind of light, Lord, show me a light. I'm almost the movie, what's the movie with Bruce Almighty where, show me a sign, and he keeps going by the billboards every time, and he never, just show me a sign, and the signs are all over like falling off of trucks. It was that silly almost that I in my head phrased the words, I just need a light or something from you. And I look down in the stream. There's literally a yellow flashlight sitting in the bottom of the stream. I'm not making this up. And I was just, and so in my head, I'm just questioning, this is so stupid. There's no way this is actually happening. And I sort of made this condition with myself. If I pick up that flashlight, it works. This is real. Dude, I swear, I picked up that flashlight, flipped it. It was a pelican light covered in moss. It shone a light as clear as could be. And it was just amazing. And I kind of heard, felt, experienced, just, I hear you, I see you, and I've got something for you. It was just amazing. And I've been off ever since. Like, you can't come back from that. It was pretty wonderful and pretty powerful.
Welcome back. I had my finger right here for that whole episode, that whole commercial, that whole break. And to come back to, that was a great question you asked. Are there any boundaries? Are there any borders? Are there any constraints? And the duality of, well, no, and yes, has everything to do with, I can hold out something for you, right? But and maybe it's like this. You can't see it at all,
or just a little bit.
Yeah,
you can see it just a little.
And so when's it be? You've heard that. When's it become yours? When you receive it, when you take it. But that's just that's a little elementary for me in this moment, and in that, to comprehend that. So here's the thing that I wanted to bring up. Is God in control, or is he in charge?
Yeah. I would say the word that comes to mind is sovereign.
Right.
So even as a sovereign king over my kingdom, I don't have control over what my subjects choose to do,
or what happens
or
to me,
don't do, or what
yeah.
happens, or whether or not the crop fails, or it's a bounty. But I am in charge.
It's helpful in explaining anything and everything that could go on in your kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning there's stuff that happens that isn't of your wanting,
mm-hmm.
or your will, or your liking.
Yep.
And because it's in your kingdom, within your jurisdiction, you're going to address it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, you didn't even cause it to happen.
And yet.
Yeah, and yet things happen. And so, yeah, I think it gets to be really, really, it's an interesting thing to consider as we come into this new year. And I look back, that's kind of where my heart has been, is in God's love, right? And in God's presence in my life with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think over the last few decades, for sure, I've been losing some theology that just hasn't been the best.
Mm.
And some practices that actually went along with it that hasn't been the best.
Yeah. So when you say the best, you mean it's not servicing you anymore. It's a, for lack of a better term, first half of life thinking.
I don't know some of that. I don't know that it ever served me. I think it was an attempt. It was some attempts to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in reality, again, my perception of God and me and what the arrangement was, and what my experience is with so many other relationships,
mm-hmm.
it's almost impossible not to put that or project that right on God when it doesn't apply, right? It doesn't apply. And so for me, I think I'm trying to answer your question. That wouldn't be the best way for me to say that it doesn't serve me anymore. I'm not sure it ever did, but
You didn't know that then, though.
yeah, I think I tried to have it work for me in terms of God's love, God's presence, and yet if it's actually, I find it to be a bit relieving and somewhat therefore helpful. If it's relieving and therefore it's helpful, that if he's not in control, though he is the author of this story, but not controlling in terms of he didn't want subjects, he wanted children, he wanted a family, he wanted
Sons and daughters.
His sons and daughters. He wanted image bearers back. And yet things can happen and do happen every day, all day, that aren't good. That sin is the mechanism in which, people are hurting one another. This is thinking out loud. This is a conversation that I think, whether it's philosophical or theological or both, but to have an opportunity in this time of year and think back and reflect back on the year, not only what happened to me, but as we were talking about this at our advanced conference, but what I did, some of it incredible, wonderful, amazing, as I've walked with God. I mean, we did some amazing things this year on mission, and things that started, simply by, hey, I had a thought.
Yeah. What if we?
What do you think about? What if we? And it literally, and it's coming to fruition over months. It arrived on the calendar, and we stepped in it, and it was absolutely amazing on multiple fronts. Not just because of the impact on men primarily, but the impact that then they have in their marriages and families. And you hear a little bit of rumblings of what happened and the goodness of it, and so I think that even in the role that we play on mission every day, some of those old records of doing enough, being enough, and somehow, presenting it to God.
Did I check all the boxes? Yeah.
How'd I do? And not that doesn't come with, this didn't go so well, or that was amazing, and that can very well be some assessment, but the attachment that I have with anyone's assessment on my value and worth is wildly overcooked.
Yeah.
And learning even still to, their opinion is not the verdict on me. Okay, in that regard. And his opinion doesn't change. The verdict is that's all been covered.
It's decided.
And to have the ability, for me anyway, to sit in that and let that affect me is what I'm talking about happened this morning.
Yeah. So being present to that in the moment, I would imagine, and you can tell me, looks like, feeling it and then inviting, what maybe questions.
Yeah.
Why do I still feel like I have to check a certain number of boxes before you'll love me or see me or appreciate me. I mean, knowing your story, I mean, it can be that kind of a self-assessment of and curiosity to move the ball down the field. It can also just be, man, this is so much better than what I was trying to do before. I just want to be in, I want to hang on to this presence,
Right.
and soak in it some. I mean, you, Tom Benner, has been a great advocate of soaking, taking time, just soaking, and listening to somebody like Graham Cook,
Yeah.
speaking words of affirmation
Or
over
us.
you,
Or some of the things
we've
we
done
try
some
to.
of that too.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, how do you think that sets you up for
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever it might set you up for?
Yeah. So that is a great question. If it's always there, his love,
Mm-hmm.
his presence, if it's always there, then I have been enjoying. There was a time I have been enjoying it this way. There was a time when I wasn't married. I can't really remember it now. I'm so saturated with being married for 35 years
Right.
that even when I see or think and look at boyhood pictures like we've done recently, I wasn't married then, but the effect of being married, it's all one, it's all part of the story, and it's such a significant part of the story that even though I wasn't married in 6th grade, I've been married so long that it's present all the time.
Right. As I went through the exercise you're referring to for our advance, there were pictures I saw and stories I know I hadn't shared with Sherry.
Yeah.
So my first thought was, oh man, I forgot about that. I got to tell Sherry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been married for 35 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like even as we're speaking, my kids are out there. My wife is out there. They're not in the room, which is an interesting observation to me, and how it affects me
Mm-hmm.
in the day to day as a husband, as a dad. There's never been a time, from God's perspective, from if I could even tap into that for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was never a 6th grade when you weren't married. There was never a 3rd grade that you weren't loved.
Mm-hmm.
There was never a time that wasn't a part of your story.
Knit us together in our mother's womb.
And to look forward to at some point, being married or being a father. I mean, these are pretty eventful roles. And some of the greatest expressions of love, when you go down an aisle or you end up, at the hospital because you wanted a family.
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing the significance and the weightiness of all of that to a perception. I'm not even going to say understanding, but a perception that he is, has been, and is present, and his presence is love.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out that that's true, or hearing about that, that's a significant thing. That's a proposal. That's a theological proposal. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
may, not know that Jesus loves them.
There was a time where
Right.
all of us did not know that.
Or didn't understand it. Even if you grew up in the church, you kind of
Well, knowing it and believing it are two different things.
So then there is the beauty of believing it, right? And I go back to one of my favorite Christmas. We talked about Tim Allen and the Santa
Santa
Claus.
Claus.
Judy her name's Judy, the little elf who makes cocoa.
Yep.
When he gets there, he gets at the North Pole, and he's looking out the window, and he says, "I see it." It's a polar bear, I think, skating on the ice is what it was. Something like that. He says, I see it, but I don't believe it. And she says, that's the problem with adults. Adults think that seeing is believing. Children know that believing is seeing.
Right.
So that is a huge part and a huge piece. So what you believe matters. I mean, back to the map.
Yeah.
It has authority in your life. How you view God, how you view yourself, what you believe about the world and how it works. All of that it's a dangerous place to be if you're believing lies that lead to some level of disorientation.
Mm-hmm.
And captivity actually is a good word for that, And I think the kind of captivity that's more like, what's the Jim Carrey movie where the whole set is one big captivity?
Well,
Truman Show.
The Truman Show. I mean, it's that vast. It's expansive. He just hadn't been out to the outer rim to see that the ocean actually ends there, and he's knocking on the dome of the great set. I think these are the stories that are helpful to get beyond our borders, and find out that no, it didn't only not serve me, it didn't help me to not be able to see and not be able to comprehend the love of God and his presence. So as that began to come off or dissolve, right? We talk about chipping everything that's not the lion. That's very much about me, chipping away everything that's not me. But this is a conversation about the artist, the sculptor, the one who's doing the chipping.
Right. Because he can see the masterpiece.
He can see what's in there
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to have come forth.
Mm-hmm.
He has that beautiful ability. And to cooperate, I'm not sure if I want to go as far as to be still and let him. If you're not in the sculptor's shop, if you're not willing to be there, then we're back to this. Is he?
Yeah.
What is his recourse?
Yeah, willing to be in the studio, and willing to say, yeah, I'd like to have that part chipped off, please.
Yeah.
It makes me think of in my own journey. When I first felt Jesus's rescuing presence, I was pretty celebratory because it was not good before I got rescued. And so...
Yeah, what's the line? If you find yourself...
at the bottom of the pit you've dug with your own
own
two hands. Yeah.
That's a line. That's a great line. That's an awful line.
Yeah, man. He didn't rescue me until I said, rescue me.
Yeah, or it's the kid. It's the kid who puts his arms up.
Yeah, uppies.
Up.
Yeah,
It's I want there.
Right. I need something other than what I'm experiencing right now, and I
Yeah.
think you can offer it to me. So for the first couple of years, I would even say after that, I was pretty celebratory. I was likened to a Labrador retriever, just all up in your face,
Yeah, man.
excited, about Jesus. And then at some point, I would say somewhere around 2012 or 13, a couple of years in, it didn't turn dark. It just was different. It became not that the celebration wasn't still there. It just was, I know I'm not done yet. I've been rescued. I can breathe again. I'm learning to walk.
I'm grateful.
I'm grateful.
I'm so happy.
No
about
doubt.
that.
But
Thankful.
I feel like there's more available and more that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
That I'm still carrying around.
Yeah. I didn't know that really existed. I thought that was, for some reason, part of it.
Yeah.
That, that again, back to,
You mean part of it, like you're just going to carry this stuff with you?
well, yeah. And it came across, yes. And that's kind of the part of me that I don't like, that God doesn't like, that you can't get better, but you better keep trying,
Mm-hmm.
and so,
and really work hard to not show that part to anybody.
and this perpetual idea that you're going to make mistakes, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's part of the, it came with, but be grateful that your sins are forgiven.
Yeah. Well, I had one benefit you didn't.
Yeah.
Which was I didn't grow up in that environment. A,
indoctrinated.
And B, right around the time, that, well, let's see, I came to Jesus in 2006, and I found a weekend that's now called the Heart of Warrior Encounter for the first time in 2009. So, I didn't go very far in my journey before I started hearing some of the stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
So I did have that benefit. But,
lucky you.
Yeah, man. Which at the time I thought, yeah, this is kind of cool. I don't really even know what they're saying necessarily, but I kind of want to hear more of it. And then as God continued to work in me and on me and for me, it got harder.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to, with me, deal with some things, that were not of him, and that were not his plan, that had nothing really to do with him.
Yeah.
So
he
wanted to get that stuff off of me. So just going back to the sculptor, we just think about, I know you got 10 things to say.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
This came out at the advanced weekend. I initially thought that the things that the sculptor wants to chip off of me and end up on the floor, not a part of the finished product, right? I thought those were a part of me, and that they were never going to come off, and that it wasn't an option to chip them off.
Or they become
and as a matter of fact, some of those
part of the decor.
Yeah, and some of those things were the things that were most true about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so those were some of the most painful ones for him to chip off.
Yeah. So to say that you weren't indoctrinated is not true.
It's a
different way. And to see that, I think is a wonderful thing to see, until you're like, whoa,
yeah.
And
is that what I look like?
Is that what that was? And I found a better word as you were talking about, instead of these things as something or some way that served or didn't serve me. I think for me, the better idea is coping.
Mm-hmm.
These were things that, because when I think of service, I think of something being really helpful. If it's going to serve you, it was helpful.
Sure.
And I don't see that with some of the ways that I, my false self and some of the ways that I operated. Mm-hmm. I think they were responses and coping responses to things that weren't good, in our stories. So,
and at the time, to give yourself a little grace, give ourselves a little grace. You don't know. You can't see that.
8, 9, and 10. This wasn't your fault,
you can't
or
not see it.
Right.
You can't unrevelate revelation.
Right.
If that's a word.
Exactly. If you want an examined life, if you want a better life, I think you need to examine your life. And if you want an examined life, you've got to slow down and pay attention to your life. Mm-hmm. What is it saying to you? Mm-hmm. What are the relationships saying? We have a friend right now that we get to talk to about something he just doesn't see. Oh, good. We get to talk. It's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
But it's that prickly gift that says, hey, man, love you and want you to want to talk about this, explore this with us.
Because I care about you.
Yeah,
I need to
and
share
so
this
so
with
that
you.
you can, in that regard, you can only go so far really by yourself. I mean, I need Robin and this thing called marriage to show me some things. I need these children of mine to help show me
Yeah.
some things.
Yeah.
And
Brotherhood.
brotherhood, oriented friends, brotherhood, and even folks that aren't on the top of your list. What is it that they can show you and offer you to see?
Yeah.
And so when I think about examining the year, here's what I would say. That's a tough order right now. If you haven't been examining some of your day to day or week to week, examining the year, going to be really hard.
Mm-hmm.
You could hit some headlines and you could get some big stories.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I think it's very important to ponder and consider. If you want a really good practical tool, go back over your calendar.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing.
I mean, literally, absolutely wild.
Or your photos in your phone.
Photos, great exercise.
Mhm.
What happened this year? Where was I? What happened there? Oh man, I remember that trip. That picture looks good. That was before the
Mm-hmm.
when I went sideways.
Yeah.
Or that was before
That trip got delayed.
I got the call about my mom.
Uh-huh.
Or,
Yeah.
I mean, so pictures are great. The calendar is great. Those would be ways to kind of look back at your year. Because it's where were you and what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where God was in all of that. Whether you acknowledged that or not, or felt any of that or not, your calendar, thank you, your pictures, and your journal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have that other one, right? If you don't have that third one, I think this is a great year to set aside some time. Maybe it's just the Sabbath. Maybe it's just that Sunday to sit down and have a journal that you can, what happened this week? Summarize the week.
Yeah, Sherry does a great one, which I love because that almost even can feel overwhelming, even a week. She does a line a day.
That's, Robin and her,
Journal.
one of them got the other into it.
Yeah.
And over the,
it's one sentence
and it's
about
over
the
five,
day.
and it's over a 5-year period. So it's got 5 entries and you get one line a day over, and now you can see where you were last year.
That's right.
What happened. So I
love that.
It's a very, very helpful, where have you invested and where have you spent time, this commodity that we all say is so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done to put your heart and soul in a place to be ministered to? And with quite frankly, could be with very little effort. Just being there, listening or watching. What is it that you're taking in? We have this ongoing thing at my house with a couple family members about reading the books that they've read. And the reason it's funny is you were listening to a book. You didn't read a book. I don't know what the other term for is in the contrast of, you think Die Hard's a Christmas show or not? Is reading a book or listening to the book?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Really reading it. Yeah.
But yes, do that. We are so trained to keep going and moving and on to the next thing. We're just, it's so in the air. And I mean, it's so in the water. It's so in the time is 4/4 time, man. Just so fast. And yet the life that I believe we all want has got to be found outside of that, and to slow down time and to reflect as we step into the new year. I know we've got a whole beautiful not podcast. I think we've done a podcast series on it, but it's actually a YouVersion. word of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a place to sit, to ponder, to ask God some questions. Where are we headed? What do I need to know? Is there a word or an image that you want to give me?
Right. Something you want me to focus on.
Or pay attention to.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a prophetic exercise in every way, and to be able to just to sit in that and to take practice, to take in a practice of that. And I think it's very, very, if you're going to have the discipline to move into what we're talking about in this episode, pondering, gathering, evaluating, assessing, exploring, and all of that in stillness, it's going to take a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
And
discipline.
God's love is not on the line here.
Yeah.
About that. It's your awareness.
That's right.
It's you.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And if the insanity thing, if you just keep doing the same thing and expecting it to be different, I think, the disappointment's going to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it starts with, establishing a discipline that is attainable.
Yeah.
So, the line a day is a great idea. I like what we're doing in this episode, just talking about, the important part of this. You're not going to somehow diminish or, change God's love for you. What you are missing out on, however, is the fullness of it.
Yeah. The one, you remember we in October, we had it at both. It was Galatians 5 and the fruit of the Spirit. This is the one that has haunted me since we really talked about it.
Self-control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about that. I mean,
love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness.
But but this thing, this thing has such a training and such a controlling ability on our lives, on our hearts, on our souls, that we just reach for it. I was in your back seat. We were driving with Josh to
on mission,
and I had it on. I had it on the bench in the back of the truck with me, and it was probably the third or fourth time that I had reached for it in 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't buzzing. It was just, and I went to email and messages, and put it back down and did it again a minute later. I was like, compulsive.
I am tethered to this thing. Yeah.
And
it's not tethered to me. I'm tethered to it.
So self-control, can you do without? It's a New Year's resolutions are all around it.
Yeah.
It is about stepping in and doing something that you haven't been doing, or it's about stepping away and not doing something that you have been doing.
Take a walk without it.
So, all of
go
those,
to your small group without it.
all of those experiments.
It's great.
If you can practice moving a little slower and being deliberate and being in charge of some of your world, not subject to it as much, that practice will help you in moments that you didn't even know you were training for.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of want to land this, that we've all been indoctrinated. We've all learned things that weren't right, good, true.
Yeah.
And to lay claim to some of those things, to see them, to see how that's led us to cope, even justify and rationalize. Very, very helpful to see that. And then to bring those things to God and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to. There's got to be something better.
Do I have to keep doing that? No.
So relieving.
So glad you asked me.
Yeah. And I'm so glad, I'm so proud of you for seeing it now. What you couldn't see before, now you see. And now hop up here on my lap or the
Mhm.
gurney or
Mhm.
whatever
Yeah.
it is, so that we can, I can help you,
Mhm.
we can chip away at that,
Mhm.
because it's not intended to be there. And now that you see it and you give me permission
Yeah. Let's go.
to help you, let's go.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. Amen. I mean, that's the deal.
Yeah.
That's the life.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us for this past year. I mean, it's been, man, I can't believe we're at the end of the year.
Or
Right?
7 years. That's
Well,
another
that's
mile marker
another.
that I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe we.
You
Yeah,
gotta
maybe
check your
maybe next
math.
year let's upgrade our mics or something. We need a. It's been a while. It's kind of like, you got a truck for about 7 years. You start thinking about a new one.
And then you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. At least a new used one. But
Right.
but yeah, it's what a year it's been, man, and looking forward to 2026 and what it will hold.
Yeah, we've got events in January here in the Raleigh-Durham Triangle, the DFG event. That's
March
here.
in New Jersey.
February in Omaha.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then April, our big event. Encounter event. So Happy New Year, friends, from SJ and I. Thank you for exploring the kingdom with us.
Yeah.
Whether this whole year or just this is your first time, thank you for being with us. We'll see you 2026 on the Exploring More podcast.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.